welcome to the Courageous Self-Care Podcast. I'm your host, Christina Marlette. On this show, we talk about self-care that goes deep. It goes beyond bubble baths and chocolate and wine. It even goes beyond nutrition and exercise and sleep. It goes where a lot of us don't want to go by ourselves on the inside. It can get uncomfortable, but the best part about it is that it transforms your life. I'm super excited to have our first male guest on the show today, Dwayne Klassen. Dwayne, welcome.
Christina, it's a real pleasure to be a part of your show today. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. So we would love to know a little bit more about you.
Sure. I'm known as the Coach for Men. I'm also the founder of the Remarkable Man Project. I'm an author of my book, The Remarkable Man. And basically that's my wheelhouse, to inspire men to live remarkable lives.
And so with all of that, I felt just really drawn to you when I met you, and that you could provide a new perspective for us on self-care. So if you're wondering why we have a man who specializes in coaching men, that is why I just felt really compelled to invite you to be on the show.
Well, it's an honor because, self-care is something that guys need to really dial into as well. And a lot of guys put that on the shelf, or they put it second nature, and really self-care is really where it starts. And as much as their outer game, their outer world is what a lot of guys focus on, it really starts within.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if I think of my own journey, my life used to be super chaotic as an overachiever. And I have, over the last 10 years, really taken a deep dive into personal development and learned specific action steps and practices that have made my life so much more calm and fulfilling. And of course, men want that too.
No doubt, no doubt. And I can so relate to you, Christina, because that's been my journey as well. And self-care has just been a big push. In fact, I hired my first professional trainer, and I have nine months to become in the best shape of my life. And he's world class, and he's really pushing me to go to the next level. And it's quite interesting too that I didn't realize just how much of it was about mindset in regards to just not moving my muscles and getting in shape that way. It was a lot of the resistance that I had about what I'm capable of at the age that I'm at. And he really helped me to really understand that you are much more powerful, much more amazing than you possibly can imagine. And it's just only been 2.5 weeks, and I have been breaking through barriers that I thought were just about my body, but it truly is about my mindset.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the core foundations of courageous self-care is mindset mastery, because our mind is our biggest ally and our biggest foe at the same time. It's so amazing because we can achieve so much when we learn to use our minds in a way that serves us. And then at the same time, that great trickster that's always there grows and learns new tricks to trick us into believing that what we are capable of isn't possible.
Yeah, we're playing that game all the time, where that's that monkey mind, it's that inner chatter, and it's the ego. The ego wants us to stay in a place that's familiar. Yes. You know, this is who you are. This is what you've conditioned yourself to be. Yet there's that higher mind that says you are meant for so much more. You are here for greatness. You are here for experiencing all that life has to offer. And by stretching and just by growing and trying new modalities, all of a sudden you start to realize that, wow, I have been playing at a very safe level, and not just physically, but also mentally. Like, wow, what can I do to really sharpen the saw today? What can I do today to make myself more productive, make myself more of a just absorbing all this information so I'm better, so that makes me be a better person for the people that I love.
That's exactly what I talk about. So we're on the same wavelength. Dwayne, what would you say your favorite self-care practice is?
Well, I have what I call my hour of power. I'm an early riser, and I'll just say right now, Christina, that I was not one of those people that said, yeah, morning, ooh, let's do this. It took a while. And what it was and you're a woman that's always been wanting to play at a high level. So you start to manifest people and mentors and people that you admire for what they're doing. You start to look at their structure of their day to get, how are they able to do so much? And they're super busy people. And it always just used to baffle me that here they are doing what they're doing, and they have another book coming out, or they have another program that they've created. And how is this possible? And so I realized most of these people were early risers. And so I started with the 5 a.m. club, and I started that kicking and screaming because this is just not just who I am. And then all of a sudden it started getting easier. And so what I do is I'm at the gym by about 5:30, work out for about an hour. I come home and I have then my hour of power, which is 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of affirmation, and 20 minutes of visualization. Mm-hmm. And it really helps to set my day with the right mindset, because I've had a great workout. I'm eating nutritionally. I'm fueling my body with the right fuels, drinking plenty of water. In fact, now that I've started my program, I'm drinking almost 4 to 5 liters a day, where I thought 3 was a lot.
Yeah.
And so this has really fueled my body to become a machine. And it's also my mental clarity has improved dramatically through this as well. So I'm able to think more effectively. And by the time 8 o'clock runs around, I'm hitting the ground running, but not from a place of harried and just trying to figure out what's next. I know exactly what I need to do. I'm on point, and I'm more centered in who I am, and I'm able to be more present in my meetings and with the people I need to meet, and with my clients as well.
Mm. I resonate with so much of what you have said here, Dwayne. And recently, like in the last month, I wanted to incorporate more movement into my day by getting outside. Mm-hmm. And so I said to my husband, the only time I can find in the day is to get up earlier. So will you come with me on a morning walk every morning? Let's get up. We've set our alarm for 6:15, and let's get up and go for a 20-minute walk. And the first day he said, I feel like I've been ripped out of bed. I said, well, you have been by me. And if you don't want to come, that's fine, but I'm going to do this. And as we've gone through the last month or so, it has become, you're right, like starting the day with a win. I feel so much more energized by getting outside, and just moving first thing in the morning feels amazing. And then I too have about an hour of mental activities that I do, including meditation. And I was running a workshop recently, and I told everyone the things that I did in the morning, and they're like, so you're spending over an hour before you even do anything? And I said, yeah, because that is what I'm putting into my energy reserve so that I can give fully the whole rest of the day. And it's so worth it compared to how I used to live.
And you said it so perfectly too, Christina. It's that it is the victory. It gives yourself the first victory of the day. So your mindset now is like, well, I've already done that.
Yes.
And for all your listeners, you know how powerful that is when you know that if you're not a morning person, and then all of a sudden say you're going to Puerto Vallarta and the flight is at 6 a.m. Well, you're packing and you're so excited, and it's like 10, 11 o'clock. I got to get to bed. I've got to get up early. And that 3 a.m. alarm goes off. Boom, you are out of the bed. You are in the taxi. You're at the airport. You're super excited. Where'd that come from? And it's just you knowing that there's a certain level of excitement that's going on. So when you have that first victory of the day, it just sets that tone, and that now it just keeps on going, and it just really builds up that momentum. So yes. I highly recommend it.
Yes, and I wouldn't call myself a morning person either. But I remember someone saying, I'm not sure who, and it was years ago, but nothing good happens after 10 o'clock at night. And so I'm doing my best to get into bed by 10 and getting up around 6:15. And yeah, I love feeling so, like when I sit down for my meditation, I'm like, oh my gosh, I already got out for a walk. This is amazing.
Yeah, it feels amazing. It does.
It does, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm curious, what made you want to start this practice? Like, did it happen all at once, or did you add it bit by bit, like the meditation, the affirmation, visualization? How did that all come together?
Well, I knew that in order for me to play a bigger game, that I needed to really, get centered and get focused, because I have that personality type where it's squirrel, weird shiny object, and so it was really important for me to really start getting that focus. And I've always been probably 20 some years of meditative practice. Now, when I say that, I'm not a guru in any sense of the imagination. I struggled sometimes about having that, getting to center, and just trying to get the mind to quiet itself, because there's always stuff going on.
Mm.
And I knew it was going to be really important for me to get to that place. And there was just a couple of times, Christina, where I had absolutely profound experiences while meditating. And it was just one of those things where I was like, how do I get back there? What was that about? And I always felt that connecting to source, or connecting to our higher power, was like a puzzle. And there's all these pieces, and it's just like, sometimes this makes sense, sometimes this makes sense. And I knew that it was only going to make sense if I continued on, because it was almost like the universe was just kind of giving you little hints, little pieces of insight, little nuggets that kind of make sense, but you need more. So I knew that meditative practice was going to be such a powerful component, because really, if you think about it, thought or imagination, it comes from somewhere else. When you look around your room, everything that you see came from someone's imagination.
Yes, I love that idea.
And when you think about it, it just kind of blows you away. And so if you're here to do something epic, if you're here to do something big, you've got to get still. It's so important. And I just want to also add, if you're going through challenges, you're going through trauma, you're going through sorrow and pain, getting still and just centering yourself and getting quiet with your thoughts, instead of all this distraction that's going on, or medicating, you get to clarity that much quicker. You also get to find out what this was all about. And then you start to realize that you're bigger than your problems. And the universe doesn't play games. Everything that's happening is happening for a reason. And when you get still and you go within, that's where the answers come from. And so I knew that had to be a major component of my self-care.
I love that. Thank you for sharing it. At one point, I just got covered in goosebumps, which I call truth bumps. So yeah, we're on the same wavelength. All right, now let's move into the second part, Dwayne, where I love to get our guests to share a story of courage. I'm looking forward to hearing yours.
Well, just the Coles Notes version. About 2008, I had what I call my perfect storm. In about an 18-month period, I lost my multi-million-dollar outdoor advertising company to crooked partners. Now, I won it back through the courts, because what they had done was illegal. But when I got it back, there was nothing left to save. They'd completely destroyed it. While that was happening, I found out my 7-year-old son from a previous relationship wasn't mine. Oh. And while that was happening, I was engaged to the woman of my dreams, and we were rocking it. And I was really at the top of my game. But when this all unfolded, I lost the sense of who I was. I lost my mojo, and she left me. I kind of went into the friend zone in my own relationship, and she ended up moving back east and started her life. So I had lost everything. And that's when I realized that there's a lot of men that were going through what I was going through. And so when I looked around for support, there wasn't any. And I have always been really great, Christina, at manifesting good people to be around. And a lot of the women that were in my world were always in these amazing women's organizations. There's a networking group for every aspect of a woman's life.
Yes.
And I thought, well, what's out there for guys? And zero. And then just through asking, I finally ended up going through to a men's organization, and it was every cliche you could think about. It was a bunch of guys commiserating, had a hate on for women, didn't want to grow, didn't want to change. And I knew that there needed to be something more. And so the universe just went, this is going to be your journey. This is going to be your path. You're here to inspire and empower men to be champions to women, heroes to children, and brothers to each other. And so for the last, since 2011, this has been my mission, and is my mission for the rest of my life, to inspire 1 million men to be remarkable and step up their game, because this world desperately needs men to be remarkable.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And isn't that the kind of men that women want to be with?
No question.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love that you have in there for the children and the brotherhood. That's a beautiful triangle.
Thank you.
So what kind of courage did it take to come from that rock bottom? Like, what would you say pulled you through?
Well, it was one of my best mentors is Les Brown, and he has a quote: if you're going to fall down, fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And it was really about me getting past the little boy within and the story, and truly taking responsibility for where I found myself. Because while I was going through my perfect storm, Christina, I was pointing fingers. I was like, how could they do this to me? How dare they? And of course, there's 3 fingers pointing back, right? And I went, oh, well, if I look at it, I was the common denominator in it all. And so how could I take responsibility for that? And what would be the best lessons that I could take out of that? And so that started me being proactive in my life. And as soon as I started taking responsibility, even though it was counterintuitive, it started changing my life. And because now I was stepping into my power, because I could actually change the course of my life, rather than lamenting and being in my stuff and my story. It actually gave me the fuel. And if you think about it, because of the work that I do now, and with the coaching that I do with men, they get my story. They go, wow, you went through that. You went through all that, and now look where you're at. And so it's authentic. And in hindsight, if you're going through a challenge right now or a difficulty in your life, know this is the perfect moment for you to learn from this, because you are going to be an amazing person on the other side of this. And you're going to be able to share and teach people how you went through it, how you got through it. And so I'm looking at all the challenges that I've ever experienced as that growth and learning opportunity.
Yeah, and we get the experiences we need to grow and expand in a spiritual sense, like our soul is wanting to expand. And my daughter just came to me the other day and she said, Mommy, I'm having this situation where I don't know what to do. And it turned out, and she said, it's the same as what I've gone through before with friends. And I said, okay, so we get the same situation over and over until we choose the harder thing to do. And when we do that, then we don't get that situation anymore because we've learned the lesson. And we get new situations. And so it sounds like for you, taking responsibility was the hardest thing that you hadn't done up until that point, and that helped you shift. Is that fair to say?
There's no question to that. Yeah, absolutely. And when I teach or when I'm coaching, it's one of the fundamentals that we go into. How can you claim responsibility for how this is showing up in your life? And what is it teaching you? And dig into that, because when you start to do that, then you access aspects of awareness that you never had before. Right.
And you also said, everything that happens to us is happening for a reason. And I love what I heard someone say. I study from a lot of people, so I'm not sure who said it, but adding on, and that reason is to serve me, to serve my highest good and my personal expansion.
Yeah, it's like the universe is looking down at us, and we always wonder, why is God doing this? Or why are my angels not showing up? Why am I not getting the universal answers? Well, it's predicated on your energy. And I use this example, and I'll try and be quick here, is that imagine mission control, where the shuttles or rockets are going up. But imagine a universal control or the Houston control in space. And out there are all your angels, and they have all these control panels, and they have the computers. And on the computer is all snow. But all those pixels, those are souls down here on Earth. And each angel is assigned to a certain number of souls. But the pixels are just random dots. And up there, space and time doesn't exist. So all of a sudden, a little blip comes up, and it's, what do we got here? The intensity of the energy increases, and obviously these crosshairs go on it, and the file comes up of the soul. And, hey, who do we got here? We have Christina. Wow, she's rocking it. She's doing amazing things here. And then the other person over here is going, what do you got over there? Oh, Christina, she's rocking it. Check this out. Her energy's off the chart. She's so excited about her mission and her purpose. And then a person over here, boom, something else comes up, and that matches the frequency. And they're going, let's put them together. This will be awesome. If we can do this, then smoke will rise. It's going to be awesome. But the supervisor's walking around, beard, robe, and he's going, so what do you guys got here? Oh, Christina's over here, and we've got Dwayne over here. And the match, this is great. This is really good going on. But all of a sudden, the supervisor is going, I like this. This is good. We'll get them on the show, but I've seen this before. Just wait for it. And then all of a sudden, you get a phone call from somebody, and something happened in the family, or a friend or something, and your energy goes down. Or someone says, Christina, that's stupid. I can't believe you would think about that. Oh, you know what? A friend of mine tried that and they failed. You don't want to be doing that, and good luck to you if you do. And your energy kind of goes. And then all of a sudden you're back into the snow, just where the average people are. And the angels go, oh, damn. And as it goes by, and I see this all the time. But then 3 weeks later, you're going, hell with it. I'm doing this. This is going to happen. I don't care what anybody thinks. I am going to make this thing happen. And you're just getting fired up, and you get around with the right people. You are very mindful of who's going to be in your head, and you get the support of your beloved, and you're off to the races. And all of a sudden, that energy comes back, and hey, it's Christina again. Oh my God. And then all of a sudden, it's way higher, and other computers are going off, and the other angels are going, oh, what do you get? Wow, Christina's really serious. We haven't seen this in a long time. And then it goes on the big screen. And now they're going, wow, this is great. We've got Dwayne over here. We got Bob. We got Rachel. We got all these people. Let's make it happen. And the supervisor's going, I like this. She's on point. She's going to make things happen. All right, I'll approve it. Go. And then boom. And that's how synchronicity works. You have got to be the energy first. The universe, your angels, they are your biggest fans.
Yes.
They truly are. But they can only cheer at your level of vibration. And they can only help at your level of vibration. So the more you're passionate, the more you have that stick-to-itiveness, the more you are inspired and just going after it, that's how synchronicity starts to match up, and your dreams start to come to fruition, and ease and grace starts to happen.
I love that analogy. I haven't heard it before, Dwayne, and I really appreciate that you used my name because I remember watching the Romper Room, and whenever they looked in the looking glass, they never, ever, ever said Christina. So it feels like it was the best example of Romper Room ever.
Awesome.
And yeah, I can totally picture it working that way. I feel that is definitely true, and I love that example. Thank you for sharing it with us.
My pleasure.
So if people want to know more about the Remarkable Man Project, if they want to learn about your coaching, where can they find you?
The best place to go is DwayneKlassen.com. They can also go, I have a podcast called The Remarkable Man Show, and they can go to theremarkablemanshow.com as well. And all the links are there. And yeah, I'd look forward to hearing from your audience.
Beautiful. Dwayne, thank you so much for being here today. I really enjoyed your perspective, and I wholeheartedly agree that self-care is not just for women, it's for men as well. And when we learn to prioritize our own well-being, everyone around us benefits.
Christina, I'm truly honored to be on your show today. Thank you so much. And I'm so grateful to be the first guy on your show.
Yes.
And, yes, thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. So if you found this show useful, if you enjoyed it, please click the like button, share it with your friends, leave a comment so that we can find out how you felt about it. And to wrap things up, I already touched on this, but I'll say it again. Oh no, before I do that, I do want to invite you, if you have a story of courage, I would love to interview you as a guest. You can apply on my website, which is christinamarlette.com. And the link for that is in the description below. And we air Monday through Friday, so there are plenty of opportunities, and I encourage you to expand that comfort zone, get out of the familiar, and do share your story with us, because when we hear other people's stories of courage, it adds fuel to our own fire of courage. So yes, now to wrap things up, I mentioned it before, I'll touch on it again. There's nothing selfish about self-care. And so many people I hear from in my interactions on social media and with my clients, there's this immense guilt around taking care of ourselves. But there is nothing selfish about it, because when we prioritize our own well-being, we personally feel better. We can give more of ourselves more authentically and with more joy. And it does send an energetic ripple around the world and up into mission control, where everyone truly benefits, even when one person says, I am going to take care of myself. So Dwayne, thank you again for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I look forward to connecting with you again on the next episode. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.